What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review the latest film by Tyler Perry, which is streaming right now on Netflix, and that is Joe's College Road Trip. Now, if you are a fan of Tyler Perry and you know the Madea movies, you know that Uncle Joe, also played by Tyler Perry, is Madea's brother, her very ignorant ex-pimp, foul-mouthed brother. Now listen, this comedy is not like the normal Tyler Perry comedies. This one is rated R. I mean, it's rated R with the hard R. This is a raunchy comedy, so you shouldn't have your children watching this with you. This is not a family film. This one is for the adults. This ain't for the children. And I know I saw online, I saw a few people, and I had some people say they were offended by this because it's kind of colorful. But I'm going to say this. In the beginning of the film, Tyler Perry does give you a warning. He does tell you that Uncle Joe didn't get past the third grade. Uncle Joe was an ex-pimp. Uncle Joe is going to curse this many times and say this many bad words in this movie. And guess what? He does that. That's why I did not sit down with my children and watch this with them. But even before that, I knew, I don't know about y'all, but I always check to see what the ratings are. And this one was rated R. So not only y'all be checking the ratings, I always check the ratings and see if there's something I could watch with my children or not. And I knew right then, yeah, the heller, we ain't watching this one with the children because it's rated R. It's raunchy. It's dirty comedy. It's just what same reason why I don't watch Miss Pat's show with my children, because the language is a little too strong. A little too strong. You know what I'm saying? Certain things you just can't watch with the kids. So I do get why people were offended, because I get it. You don't expect this from a Tyler Perry comedy. You're not expecting this, but guess what? In his defense, he did kind of tell you that this one was rated R. So, I mean, come on, check the end. And then he gives you a disclaimer at the beginning. So, I mean, you still watch it. You should have turned it off soon as, because Uncle Joe's dropping these F-bombs as soon as the doggone film. So, turn it off. That's all I'm going to say. So, anyway, let me give you the premise of this. A film centers around Joe and his son Brian and his grandson, mainly his grandson BJ. Now, BJ is played by Jermaine Harris. Uncle Joe, of course, is played by Tyler Perry. So is Madea, and so is Brian. So Brian's son BJ is college bound, but he is one of those that doesn't see race. He does not, he was raised not to see race. And now I think Brian is having some, he's a little taken aback because of the things his son says. And his son's like, oh yeah, racism, that was a long time ago. Get over it. This, that, and the third. That's how he feels. And Brian does not like that. So he goes to his father and to his Aunt Madea, and he asked them to help out. And that exchange is kind of funny too, because they're like, listen, you don't want to raise your son like this. And then in this, we learn how Brian was raised, and Brian was raised by Uncle Joe horribly. Some of the things that he was saying, some of it, and I do get it, because there was some jokes that were a little off color, and I know there were people that were offended by some, and I understand that, because some of it was like, whoa, okay, that's a little bit much. Some of them, but overall, I felt like the film as a whole was funny. Do I think that he could have toned down some of the language? Yes, but I think that Tyler was he was trying to step into this realm of raunchy, dirty blue humor. I mean, he has Millie Jackson in here, and y'all know Millie Jackson. If you don't, that's a soul legend, Millie Jackson, who was known for songs that had raunchy lyrics and curse words in it. You have Miss Pat in this, and Miss Pat's playing a madam in this. And Miss Pat, if you've seen her, she's a comedian whose jokes are, foul language, and her sitcom full of dirty jokes. And Amber Rain Smith is in here. Y'all know her. I believe that's the young lady from Beauty and Black. So, But now, with all that being said, the film still did debut as #1 on Netflix. So people tuned in, and it's mixed. I see some people that hated it, and I know some people that loved it. Some people hated it because the cursing and the this and that. They just couldn't take all the language and the this and the that. It just floored them. But again, there was a disclaimer, and they said it was rated R. So you still watch. You should have turned it off once you realized it was rated R. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So Joe takes his grandson on this college trip, Of course, there were a lot of funny moments. I like the generational gap and the way they didn't agree on certain things. But the way his son was, I get it. His son is liberal. His son is uptight, the way BJ is. But I felt like BJ was a little too naive and a little too out of touch. But that was funny. Just like I felt Uncle Joe was a little too ignorant and too out. I felt they both were out of touch with each other, but that's what makes for exaggerated comedy. So I thought this whole film overall was funny. I like that. I like the message, and basically the message to me I got was know your history. Don't forget where you come from. Honor your history. You come from a rich history. You got to know about the struggles. You can't just sweep it up under the rug and act like it didn't happen or not know it. And in this case, BJ didn't know a lot of things. And I did like that there were scenes where, he went to the Lorraine Hotel. That's the hotel where Martin Luther King was shot at and eventually, killed. There was also the Money, Mississippi, about the incidents with Emmett Till. You had the civil rights sit-in, and it spoke on all those different things. And, you had a funny scene I thought was funny was when BJ accidentally goes into this all-white biker club, which they were extremely racist. And the brawl breaks out, and there's references to the Alabama brawl. So I thought that was kind of funny in the scene with Uncle Joe. I liked the film. I thought it was funny. Do I think they could have toned down some of the stuff? Yes. Could it have worked as a PG-13 film? Absolutely. But I think here, Tyler was like, listen, I want to show y'all that I can do raunchy comedy. And for what it was worth, I thought it was funny. And surprisingly, because I thought, okay, what is this? Oh boy. I thought I was going to dislike it, but I actually liked it. Now, I do feel like Tyler is giving us a glimpse of his own childhood because, in his documentary, he mentioned that his father was very abusive. And I think he's taken that pain and turned it into some comedy because some of the stuff Uncle Joe was doing and saying, it was like, wow, this is crazy. But it also showed that Uncle Joe has a redeeming, for BJ, this is Grandpa Joe, but we know him as Uncle Joe, that he has a redeeming quality despite being ignorant, despite being foul-mouthed. He too has a story. And that was the message I took from this, like, know your history. Know your history and appreciate your history, where you come from. And I like that aspect of it. And that's what made it funny to me. I thought, hey, okay, I look at this as a raunchy comedy. So now you tell me your thoughts. What did you like about this film, if you like this film? Or were you totally offended by the foul language? Was that what took you off? And were you offended because it was Tyler Perry doing the foul language? Because you're not used to Tyler Perry doing this? Because there are other shows that are raunchy and things that are out like this. But was that the reason? Tell me. Let me know what your thoughts were. Like I said, I get it. I understand. There's no wrong answers. I get it. I understand why there were some people that didn't appreciate that. And there, like I said, was certain jokes I thought, okay, whoa. But overall, I thought it was funny. So tell me your thoughts. What did you think? Please let me know. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all when? In the next video, because listen, I'm making a comeback, y'all. I know I've been a little slacking, but I'm going to be on here more often, y'all. I'm going to be on here more often for my followers that follow me and know what I do. And I'm going to start putting my fitness journeys back up here, too, because I got to make it about me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.